What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here as we discuss day 2 of the 2025 NFL Draft. More specifically, day 2 of the Dallas Cowboys 2025 NFL Draft.
Which means rounds 2 and rounds 3. No picks in between.
Last night, just like pretty much every draft, right? Some surprises, some not so many surprises, some other things we have to touch on, and some cowboy adjacent things that also are relevant.
Huge news, you could say, even in this draft happening as this one ended. So we'll talk about that and more, and shout out everybody in the house. So we have a goal we just started here. Again, like last night, we hit the goal twice. If you hit the goal, everybody involved in that goal gets, if you did 3 times you got to that teal, you did 3 drops that were $5 or higher through Super Chat, then you will, that will count towards a raffle entry for yourself. And we'll pick 4 names right at the beginning of May, and they will be entering the big raffle for the jersey here. We're going to do a quarterly jersey raffle. So we'll get to that in a minute. You see what's going on your screen, the Joneses and Schottenheimer celebrating as they always will. Our Cowboy fans representing in full force, but of course, our 2 picks, round 2 on the left and round 3 on the right, and in the middle, well, that's a player we didn't talk about here in MCF. Or is there a player we're going to get? We'll talk about that and more. Number 10, I think you know who that is by now. It's the old Cooper Rush number, but we talk about round 4 and 5 in a way, and some players that have already been basically taken by the Cowboys on traded away picks. So we'll talk about that and more here. But first, let's open it up and talk about you guys, the family here, representing these boards. And there's a lot of new names today than we had the last 6 weeks, 5 weeks or so. And this is like our 3rd or 4th stream. Remember, guys, at the end of this draft, tomorrow night or Sunday night, this will be the end of. We'll announce some winners. It's the end of this streak of weeks that we've done this. So we will, right now, we've got about 5 or 6 streams built up in these last 6 weeks, and we're going to have enough to determine a champion. So just right now, I want you to know that the man, John Luna, for the last 3 months, sponsor of the week, still there and still in first place to try to get that sponsor of the week. So huge shout outs to the man, John Luna. And of course, read up in the description, you can see about his boy Charlie.
Yes, this is in honor of his friend Charlie.
So make sure you can donate through there to him and that situation there. So read up on that. Big shout out to the man John Luna, even though he is a Houston Texans fan. He's a wonderful MCFer, and he was on that Stream Boss representing that. But you can see there's a new name there. I will say John Luna is still the 6th-time champion when it comes to gifting memberships, but that's also under attack. So again, Cav52, big shout outs to him. He has 76 points on the Stream Boss with huge takeover yesterday. Shout outs to him, and I think it was him and Mr. Our main guy here from for the last couple of years, Mr. Marco Seppian, who really tore it up. So shout outs to both of you guys. But Cav52, 76 points on the Stream Boss. So she's skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. Who, by the way, dropped a $2 pre-stream thanks on the thanks button. So he moves up a little bit on the overall board. He's in the mix. And he's our Cash App King right now. And representing that crown for the last 5 weeks. We'll see what happens. He was representing it, and I realized after last night's stream that he's not the leader anymore because of Cav52's drops. And you'll see right there in that green writing, the message on screen, the Streamlabs drop. Cav52 is currently the leader on the Cash App King side of things, the Cash App countage. So shout outs to the man Cav52 back on the board here in many different ways. So yeah, well, there's the leader, Cav52. So a little takeover there. I think Cab is 10 or 12 back on first place. He can literally have a 3 takeover here if he really wanted to. Eventually, before the end of this draft, we'll see if Cab does that. And also, don't forget, when it comes to the gifting memberships, I do want to shout out Skeptical Fan because he is in the lead right now. I think he's gifted 2 of them so far in the last couple of weeks. So who is the number right now for Skeptical Fan in the lead in gifting memberships? Again, this all ends after round 3, after day 3. Round 7, and maybe a breakdown. Maybe we'll have one on Sunday. So, this is basically the rush to the sprint to the finish line here to all the people on the boards. But there's a lot of ways to show the love here, baby. Not just in the YouTube side, which is of course things like Cash App drops, things like thanks button, which you just talked about there. The thanks button from stream
Yeah, I think
from
you got a few
Skeptical
things
Fan.
mixed up there.
I
I
said
think you,
Cash App. I
yeah,
meant again. I keep saying it wrong.
I
It's
know.
the super
Super
chats.
chats.
Super chats through YouTube. You got the thanks button through YouTube. You could join the membership through YouTube. And again, like I said, big shout outs yesterday to the man Justin Quarles back in that silver level membership.
Look you, man.
Yeah, that's a Fan Friday tonight. So we do the shout outs for the silver level as well. And when you're in the membership, you can gift memberships to random people, which is a best way of helping out everybody on this on the channel in the chat. So shout outs to everybody involved on that side of things. But there's four of the ways, which we'll call it the After Dark ways, on my After Dark channels. You can support the channel not through YouTube, and have a little advantage on tiebreakers and that kind of stuff. But there's also big shout outs to the people that do win this, and that is the Cash App Crown, which is right now represented by the man Skeptical Fan, right now in the lead by Cat 52. What are the four ways of dropping through there, baby? It's on the screen.
Well, you have, of course, the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My Cowboys Family, the regular PayPal link, and of course the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen like a super chat
You
does.
know it, you know it, you know it. And we saw that from Cat 52 yesterday. 2 drops. He's at 20 out there. So he's got the lead on that side. Like I said, the leader, Cat 52 in the Cash App side. So again, the shout outs here. I do want to make sure we do our but not only our nightly shout outs for those in the star and over everything level, which right now we're representing myself here, Ozzy and John Luna. Those are the two representing it. I know we had some downtime, so there might be some ups and downs on the returns, immediately. But once the season starts really get going, I'm sure we'll add up a couple members in the star and over everything level membership, the top shelf memberships, you can say, the automatic raffle entries to to the jersey raffle, which you see literally right here. So starting over everything level memberships. Again, this will be a quarterly thing, not a monthly thing, because we're not able to go live as often. But I do want to say on top of that we also shout out those that are in the silver level on Fan Fridays. Like I said, we already did the starting over everything, which of course is John Luna and Aussie, but we had 3 silver level members here.
Yeah, like Justin Quarles, the Q Man,
Man.
Dwayne Broussard, the Top Dog Bay Bully,
Hell yeah.
and the longest running MCF member here, Mr. A. Lavelle.
57 months of membership from him. That's tops on here. That's craziness. Thank you so much, everybody on the memberships are watching now, dropping the love. Appreciate your love and support. But enough of that. If you want to ask a question, that's the way of doing it. Catch our attention. You can drop the love that way, and you can do it through the Cash App, the Super Chats, or wherever. Now, as you see us here, baby, I want to know who the hell is in the house to talk about some Cowboy football for an hour and our new draft picks and how it's going to help the team, hurt, good and bad on these guys, and also a move that we made or two coming up for tomorrow that, determined a couple of our picks already in a way, as well as, NFL talk on Mr. Sanders.
Of course.
And former Cowboy, his dad, former Cowboy, great Deion Sanders.
So, but yes, we have James Hurd here in the house. Much love. The dude representing here saying, and yes, we're going to get into all of the other non-Cowboy pick draft news.
Some of them, yeah. Well, that we kind of leave that to you guys, but there's one major piece we got to discuss.
C. Bass in the house. Much love. We have Tokyo representing here. Madman, what's up? Jeez Louise 23, hello and hi. Let me see who else is here. Chris Plumage, much love to you. Even you, Wes Robinson, what's up?
Hey, it's all right. He's cool people, other than being a Bronco fan.
It's okay. We won't hold that against him too much. Let me see who else is here. Rudy G. Funk, thanks for rocking it with us.
Browns, a lot of representation from all different kind of teams.
Let me see. I think that's everyone here so far.
No, we got Daniel Berry.
Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, what's up?
And a big shout out to Daniel Berry Sports Highlights because he just dropped a $1-2 holler.
Well, thank you, Daniel.
So let me give him his proper shout out, I guess you can say, since we haven't done it in a while here. Let me make sure I get it done right. And shout out Daniel Berry as the Cash App drop hits with a $2 holler. He said for 2.
There you go.
Hell yeah, brother. Thank you. I know he's all over our outside of things when it comes to After Dark. His first appearance here on MCF, on my Cowboys family side of things. He's been here before, but I'm saying the first time for a while we had these streams recently. Daniel Barry on this side of the coin, I guess you could
Yeah.
this side of the street.
I think I got a four. What's up with you? We have Albert representing.
Yeah,
Let me see, Renee G, of course, skeptical fan always. Staying skeptical.
always.
And I'll give it a second or two here to see if YouTube decides to work properly. I know last time it took a second for it to go through, but thank you very much to Skeptical Fan, who just dropped a $2
Oh yeah,
holler here in the super chat with a big old thumbs up.
much
I
yes.
know that classic Go Cowboys is there too.
Reminding everybody to hit that like button right now and subscribe and hit that notification bell and all that good stuff. And again, there's always that goal to hit too if you hit that 5 above. I'm
Hmm.
not sure. I think that the $2 ones, they usually come through, don't they? The under dollar ones don't come through. It's always that first one don't go through. It seems it happened yesterday too. That's crazy.
Hmm.
Remember yesterday? I think Skeptical Fan did that, but we got you, Skeptical, and he's closing in a little bit closer, getting closer and closer. It's Cat 52. We, like I said, it's like 11 or 12 back on
Yep.
first place. So it's a battle to the top, and we'll see who wins. We can basically say the off season. I guess say free agent to draft day. The free agent to draft day. Uh, you know, jersey. I guess
Yeah.
getting a raffle.
And, true to form, there it
It goes
is.
through. There it
That
goes.
one goes through. Thank
Oh,
you
that's the
very much
second
to
one. Okay.
Skeptical Fan, yes, for
Okay.
another $2 holler. This one showed up proper like. And he said Dak needs to make room for Mingo at his house.
Yeah, you're reading at the bottom too. Read that bottom of the screen. That scroll. You'll see where we have some of our picks already taken in the 4th and 5th round. You'll see it and you'll know why. And if you don't know, I'll explain why. But it's right there. Shout outs to the man skeptical fan who after that he is shit. He's like 20 backish, a little under 20 back on first place on the overall board. But that's sponsor of the week as we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Last couple of streams in the last 3 months, basically. I say the last 3 months we've been doing these before,
Hmm.
since the last winter, about 2 months, 2.5 months or so. Anyways, I'll stop babbling. Any other comments, or not comments, but like shout outs or anybody who's jumped in there, baby, that I might you
Well,
want to?
it just, Dak might need to make room for more than just Mingo.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, we got a lot of things to talk about. Let's start with, and again, it's gonna be a lot shorter than yesterday, guys. Yesterday was a 2 hour bomb. Today's gonna be about an hour plus, something like that. So, hang with me when it comes to this draft. Outside of the Cowboys, and you never know how it involves the Cowboys, but Deion Sanders, former Cowboy great cornerback, went to Colorado, coached there. Um, Brought his sons with him. Specifically, quarterback Shedeur Sanders, who had 2 years there, looked great. I mean, he was all what was he? All offensive player of the year, and all these other things. Through 3 rounds, round one yesterday, round 2 and 3 today, completed. Through 3 rounds, 5 quarterbacks have been drafted. But when that 4th round opens on Saturday, tomorrow, Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders will be the biggest name available after what has been an unprecedented fall in the draft. I mean, it's been rarely seen someone this highly ranked by all analysts drops this far down into day 3, into round 4. You could say, I mean, Dak was never this meant big of a drop. You know what I'm saying? Like Dak dropped into the 4th, into the end of the 4th of the comp pick. Shedeur Sanders is entering this as expected initially top 5, then top 10, and top 16, 17. We had the Steelers in the 20s, and then he's dropped into the 4th round. That's the story of like sports right now. Now, some people might say, he sucks. He's not that great. Some people say, he's fantastic. Give him a chance. I mean, at this point, I think anybody could give him a chance, and it's not a risk anymore. But I will say this: Shedeur Sanders. The word is the cockiness of Deion Sanders, the cockiness of Shedeur Sanders has and the lack of leadership ability.
Skeptical said they're giving Deion's son the Kaepernick treatment.
Yeah, well, it's more. I think it's more.
Yes, for different reasons, maybe.
Yeah,
Like, you can kind of say it that way.
yeah,
It's just saying.
yeah. I think it's more the fact that Dion is arrogant and all that stuff, and he's like hyping up his own son to a point where when they tested Shedeur Sanders, even though he has some good qualities, they don't think he has the mindset of a leader. Maybe because of his dad just being so maybe overbearing, but also he doesn't have he has a little bit of that arrogance that they don't want as a quarterback. Like as a receiver or a different position is one thing, but as a quarterback to be confident is one thing, arrogant is another, and it doesn't match up when it comes to like a lot of the, I guess you could say, correlation skills on the field, even football IQ to some way. So the thing is, and again, this is what the analysts are saying, but they are dumbfounded that it's even gotten to this point. The big thing was he did not interview very well. Was the general consensus by every team.
It's a little bit more to it than that. I'm going to touch on it here in a second.
I do want to say that, but in the end, every team that had the same feeling about a guy, that is strange after 3 rounds. I'm shocked. I would have thought someone would have risked no matter how bad. And there's 2 or 3 guys that are drafted today in the last 2 rounds, in round 2 and 3. I cannot believe it drafted over Shedeur Sanders. It's incredible. No one's really seen something like this happen. So what do you guys think about this? I mean, we're not going to go after him because we got our backup, which I actually forgot to talk about yesterday.
Well, Calvin Richards said with his $5 holler. Thank you
very much,
Calvin Richard.
The big 5 on it. Big shout out to Calvin Richard.
Maybe the Cowboys can draft Sanders, move him to cornerback like his dad played. He's a young kid. Welcome to the real world.
Oh, shit. Oh, Calvin Richard, who, by the way, got to make this known, it's 1 out of those 10 possible, bullseyes, you can say, to hit that goal. So, he's getting, if we hit the goal, he's getting his name in that raffle. So, big shout out to Calvin Richard. And I do want to answer that. No, I'm going to be straight up on that. No way we should go out. We should get Sanders and then make him a cornerback. No, that would be a Cowboy type move, taking this guy, making him versatile and play.
That would be
that offensive line, from left guard to right guard, or from left guard to left tackle, or from guard to center. All right, but not quarterback to a cornerback. That's a Jamil Showers treatment right there. And to me, that means you're hanging on by a thread. There's no reason to draft the guy for that reason. I think you're joking. I think he's joking about that. But I hear you're saying that the thing is, the Cowboys do not, and I will continue on this as I get a couple more comments on this. But I do want to work on some of the reasoning why, even now that it's even become a real thing, and maybe we can trade up for this guy. Whatever. Slow down. And you'll see what I'm talking about because the Cowboys already got the backup quarterback. If we end up with Shedeur Sanders, he's our 3rd stringer. Just so you guys understand the way it's going to go. And I'll explain much more details in a moment, but some of the answers are literally right below us, right there on your screen. So we'll get into that. Any quick comments or thoughts maybe from your side of things first, and then from comments from the chat? The family?
When it comes to the whole Sanders thing,
specifically, that's all.
And going back to that earlier comment made there. Oh God, who was it? Oh, there we go. It was a skeptical fan saying like, they're giving him the Kaepernick treatment or whatever. Like I said, different reasonings, kind of somewhat similar-ish results. Like you said, it's not really a physical problem when it comes to Sanders. It is more the attitude, the mental. He also apparently was very open with teams and said, like, I'm not just going to play for anyone. I don't have to play for money, so I don't give a shit who drafts me. If I don't like you, I'm not playing for you.
See, so that leads people away from him being a team player.
Yeah, that obviously turned off a lot of teams, and a lot of teams just don't really want to deal with the Sanders family drama
circus.
The kind of hoopla that would come from getting a player with such a high-profile dad that is so actively involved.
I want to ask a quick question, though. Do you know who would love that? The Joneses. Yeah. They would take him and make him the water boy if they can get Deion Sanders there and take pictures and get more views and clicks and etc.s. So anyway, I better not put that jinx in reality.
James, he's saying Eli Manning did that no problem because, apparently, look, even I admit that with that one, as snobby as it was for Eli to be that way, it made a little more sense because it wasn't like he was like, I'm not just going to play for any team. He specifically said, I don't want to play for the fucking Chargers because they're horribly mismanaged and I don't want to get fucked over there in Charger land.
He wasn't picking his team.
Giant land, but at least he got some hardware.
He won 2 fucking Super Bowls.
Exactly.
I don't like the quarterback. I don't even think he's that good, but some balls to anoint himself to do that. He was still taken because he had that Manning DNA at quarterback. Well, Deion Sanders don't have that. If he was a cornerback, he might, and he can maybe get away with that. You know what I mean?
Like the dude saying, don't forget Deion went to the media saying, he didn't want Shedeur playing in a cold weather city.
Exactly.
Seabass
Exactly.
said, "It's a sobering reality of humble pie, but
Yep.
that's life.
Yep.
The kid still makes more than me, so can't be all that bad. At
He
some point,
will.
someone's gonna pick him up."
But and I agree. But when you think about it in the context of football, I mean, you were going to be a top couple of picks.
Some people, yeah, like
I mean,
all the analysts had him
yeah.
going in the first 15.
Wherever he goes now, he's making like under $1 million.
But it's not about the money, so I guess that's good for him.
Like he's gonna make I don't want to say under $1 million at this point. I know things have gone up, but he's probably gonna make $2 million in 4 years. And there's no 5th-year option. I'm just saying, like, this is like slap in the face 15 times over. It's like a huge piece of humble pie. I agree with Seabass, but I mean, in a way, it's almost like do not anoint yourself. Do not have your dad anoint yourself. Do not be arrogant. Do not say where you want to play. Those are not qualities of a quarterback. It's quality of a diva receiver or a diva cornerback, but not a quarterback. So I think if he's going to be that way, he's going to have to, is this going to humble him enough that now somebody's going to say, okay, now we can trust him because he's going to have a drive and determination to try to prove everybody wrong? Or is this going to be like, oh, fuck all of you, I'm just going to quit because I don't have to play for this team, or I don't have to do this because I just sit back at my dad's pad. I don't know what to say. Like, these things are always hanging around, and it showed in testing. It showed in the interviews. So again, shocking as it may be, it looks like NFL said they ain't fucking around with this. Listen, I'm going to say something about. I do want to say our 2 picks today are players that maybe a lot of you guys didn't expect. I'm going to be honest. I didn't. The first player of the Cowboys. I'm not going to go into them right now. I just want to quickly say it because it's going to lead me to what's coming tomorrow. But we selected an edge rusher to basically help Sam Williams and be on the other side of Micah Parsons. We'll talk about that in a minute. But that was our 44th pick, our second rounder. We got bigger news here to talk about. That's Calvin Richard dropping that $10 holler. Much love to you, Mr. Calvin Richard, who again, that's 2 spots, I think. Now we're 8 away from hitting that bullseye, that goal. What did the man Calvin Richard have to say? And by the way, he's also moving up to the board as well.
So he said, "I spent 20 years in the Army and more than once was passed over for promotion by people that I thought that I was much better than. But you keep pushing forward and things will work out." So first of all, thank you, Calvin Richard, for your service.
Yes,
very much appreciated.
And
I imagine, and again, I think the military is a great comparison when it comes to the football stuff, just because obviously I imagine in that type of environment, a good chunk of that is like, hey, do we like you?
right.
Do we like who you are, what you're about? Can you lead people? Will people follow you and listen to you?
It's funny because unlike I guess it is happening, of course, in military and things like this, but
different in a regular job where like
nepotism always helps you in everything, right? But yet this is a way where it kind of hurts.
Yeah.
Shedeur Sanders, in his own way, he kind of comes out as Dion almost in a way, and Dion doesn't stop.
He gets the benefits of Dion like up to this point. No one's denying that. But like I said, there's a lot of hesitancy from a lot of teams to want to get involved in the Deion Sanders circus, and rightfully so. So like in that sense, it is hurting him. And you can almost say that because of those same privileges that helped him get to this point, those are the same privileges that are making this kid turn around and say, I'm not playing here. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that.
That's exactly what it is. It's the Deion Sanders. It's being Deion Sanders without earning it. It's what's happening, right? Yeah. He thinks he's Deion Sanders at quarterback. He didn't earn shit, and it showed in the combine when it comes to the certain testing, and when it comes to the interviews and his pro day and the nitty gritty about processing time and all these things. These are things you just can't go out there and say, I'm Deion's son, draft me. I'm going to play here, draft me.
Yeah.
Now look what happened. It's day 3. You're going to be at the highest day 4. That's a tumble from the top. He was going to make 20 million. I don't know how much the rookies usually make coming out first, second, third round. I mean, first top 10 picks. What do they make? I don't know, 10 million. I don't know what they make. 7 million a year. My point is, I think it's more than that. He lost out in millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. It's not about money.
It's not about the money. So to me,
it's about ego and pride. It's about ego and pride. Exactly. That's been destroyed.
Because he'll take $10 if it means he gets to play on like the Chiefs or like, just to give an example, right? If it isn't about the money and it is about the teams, then I mean, honestly, at this point, Shedeur would have been better off just straight up saying the teams that he would be willing to play for, just to see if which one of those might be willing to pick him up.
Yeah, the thing is, the only real team that wants any kind of circus clown show is the Cowboys. So that's.
And I love the comments here because you guys are bringing up some great points. So first of all, Texas Cat said nothing stopping Jerry from getting Sanders. It brings so much publicity to the team, but it's going to be so much smoke that he's going to say, nah, I'll
he's
pass.
even staying away from
Which is more or less what he kind of said. He's like, oh, I think it's all this attitude concerns and all these drama around Sanders' family concerns is bullshit. He's a great player, but we are paying too much money for Dak, so we can't afford this guy. Like, that's kind of what he said to get around the fact that we didn't draft him. So the dude also said Shedeur has earned the right to be drafted, but sometimes you make missteps. Both he and his dad did leading up to this draft. This is what happens. QBs fall sometimes. Now it's up to him to what do you make of it now?
Well, this is. I don't want to do the whole show on Shedeur Sanders because we're not going to get him. But and that's not he's not gonna be a Cowboy. It's more just overall the news stuff. But I do
very Cowboy adjacent. Well, draft news though because of the Sanders thing.
Yeah, but what was the last thing you had said? Because there was a good comment about the missteps. The thing is that I agree. We all agree with the missteps that he's made and all that stuff. But to me, it's more of the fact that what is it that you cannot fix about Sanders that teams are just like we're just out on him.
And by the way, Madman, thank you for confirming it is $7 million a year.
$7 million. So again, let's think about that. Just take it in the context of money. I know he's going to make a lot of money. Whatever, he makes $2 million in 4 years. He would have made at least $7 million per year. Think about it, and that's a 4 to 5 years. He would have had that. That's $20 million difference. And I know it's not about the money, but I'm sorry, but that pride is maybe worth more to him than that. So. Yeah, that's again. All you can hope is that it brings him down to earth, and maybe that'll get a team to say, "Hey, you know what? Let's take a risk on him." Someone's going to take a risk on him.
That's a great point too, Seabass. He's like, I don't fret. The greatest quarterback ever wasn't drafted that high. So if you keep your head low, kid, grind. Praise God for the opportunity if you're given one. Exactly. It's not like he's completely down and out. Right. We'll never see an NFL field.
My point though is, this is the humbling that he may need. To get maybe even Deion Sanders needs to say, I need to get the fuck out of this because I have to let my son now I've hurt my son worse, by getting his hopes so high, getting him so arrogant to the point he might lose the drive to even do any of this. You know what I'm saying? So
I think
it's a dangerous line that Deion's told.
I don't see Deion being that self-reflective. Just me, not in that.
I think this is a mirror to the faces of the entire Deion crew there, and they gotta see it. They got to see it now. You cannot see it. It's there. It's fact now. It's embarrassing to a point of almost not seen.
Perfect $5 holler to kind of end this portion of the discussion, saying, if his last name wasn't Sanders, would we be having this conversation?
Nope.
No, because the Sanders factor is
what got him on the top of the quarterbacks. Yeah.
Not just that, but that is part of the reason why it was so cool to see him do what he did in college. It wasn't just like, oh, look at this great quarterback. It's, look at this great quarterback being coached by his great former NFL playing dad. And they're out here kicking ass, taking names, being the big dogs. It was very braggadocious, but kind of in a good, endearing way. Now that's not really translating to the NFL because that type of, you can't be that type of braggadociousness on your way in the door. Like you said, you have not earned that.
It started when he was in Colorado, and when after he started off pretty, everyone's like, oh shit, this is the real deal. Then all of a sudden he came back to earth, and everyone was like, okay, he's not really that great, but yet he still looked good. When he had time, he was great. He's mobile, but sometimes the decision making wasn't great. And then you see him when he's on the run, he makes mistakes. So these are the things that already kind of bother you a little bit, competition. And then on top of that, the lack of desire of wanting to be a leader and the teammates and the team orientation of things. I think that is the biggest fear at this point when it comes to the Deion Sanders, or I say Shedeur Sanders situation. But all I can hope.
97, what's up? Well, so, by the way, thank you, Calvin Richard. Appreciate that drop. Much love. And like I said, we've got 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 3 hits there on the bullseye for that goal.
Yeah. So now I want to kind of, like I said, I don't want to spend the entire night talking about this, but it's obviously relevant because as the clock kept ticking down closer to the Cowboys pick, and we saw a few of the guys that got drafted right before, my initial thought was like, oh shit, like that's who we were going for. So Shedeur
Oh
Sanders. Like
God,
when
no,
he was still on the
no, no,
board at
no,
44, like I was
no,
like,
no,
oh my
no,
god, the
no.
Cowboys are gonna do some crazy shit.
No, there's no way. Listen, and listen, there's no way the Cowboys would do that. I don't think they would, and they didn't. I
Now
mean,
that they haven't done it, it's easy to say.
well,
But
no,
like I said,
no.
at the time, I was sitting there
I mean,
thinking there was a good chance that was gonna happen.
yeah. Well, I was not. I thought that I thought that if anything could happen, that would any crazy thing gonna happen, and someone's gonna grab Shedeur Sanders, it would be Jerry Jones just for the hoopla. But what I think is that the Cowboys almost somebody up there is telling Jerry don't go for the hoopla, which is a good. It might be Stephen
Thank
Jones.
goodness.
Might be Stephen Jones. But the thing is this: the Cowboys ended up going with defense. I think they stick to their plan, to the board. And I'm going to say the names real quick here by the best I can. The Cowboys at pick 44 in the second round picked Donovan Ezeiruaka. That's his name. Uh, Ezeiruaka. I can't. Ezeiruaka? Is that right? I think Ezeiruaka is the name. But yeah, it's Donovan Ezeiruaka, defensive edge rusher from Boston College. So we'll go through him in a minute in more details. I will. We can say the good and bad about him. You guys can keep putting your thoughts as far as the poll is concerned. There's a poll there, so vote. But then came the third round pick, and the Cowboys went with a cornerback. Which again, last night I did say, receiver, running back. Look for one of those guys to get drafted. But if not, I was kind of favoring maybe a cornerback situation, right? Well, we wanted a cornerback in the third round,
Hmm.
and his name is Shavon
It's Savon.
Shavon Revel. Shavon Revel, cornerback from East Carolina. That was our 76th pick of the draft. The 76th pick of the draft, our third pick of the draft. And I will go over his situation as well. He was a top prospect that dropped a lot because of injury. We'll talk about that. But
So that one feels like a very prototypical cowboy
I'm
pick.
going to tell you a guy that we should have picked there. That's why I'm upset about that. But look, I want to let that rant go.
Yeah.
Then
Let's talk
I
about.
want to get back to like the quarterback stuff with our Shedeur, not Shedeur, but kind of like our quarterback situation and our. First off, those are the two picks, right? There was no running back or receiver taken. Word is, guys, that Jerry Jones, and he said this yesterday, or he said it on Tuesday during the draft. Kind of the Cowboys had their draft, press conference. We've covered it basically every year, and every year it's just been bullshit. But I do want to pull one thing that's relevant now. After seeing 2 rounds or 3 rounds, 2 days of Cowboys drafting, Jerry Jones on Tuesday said that the Cowboys were working on two, quote, pretty substantive trades, end quote. Now we know Jerry Jones is always full of shit, but now I'm trying to see this. The Cowboys don't even look like they're looking for a running back or a quarterback. I'm going to be real. If Gentry was there at 12, even if Trayvon Henderson fell to them. Remember, guys, the Cowboys don't go get guys and trade. We have 10 picks. We don't trade up to get the guy we want. We let them fall to us. That's the way the Cowboys do their games, and they don't ever go up and get anyone. So Trayvon Henderson was literally a couple draft picks away from us. And I was so pissed that he did not fall to us. At that point, I didn't really give a fuck who we got at that point because I thought Trayvon Henderson was going to be a beast for us, a hard-hitting, hard-nosed running back to last for a good chunk of years on our team. It seems the Cowboys don't want to invest in a running back that you got to draft and then pay a high ranked running back that you got to pay in the second contract when these running backs be broken after 4 years, especially if they're hard nosed runners. So I don't know if that's the concept here. I'm trying to make it make sense, but Trayvon Henderson was a guy that Cowboys didn't feel confident enough to go up and trade for. He was kind of the one I think most of us were like hoping for. Did not happen. So no running back there. Receivers, I'm going to be honest, even though there's a lot of them, there's just nothing that you want to go in. Any guy I've seen at 44 at this point in my mind, even if he's going to be better than Tolbert and Mingo, is not there yet. So you're drafting that guy who's going to be your fourth receiver in the second draft pick, like in the second round. That doesn't make sense either. So once I saw the running back situation with Henderson gone, I'm like, that disappointed me. And it's like, whoever we pick, we pick. But I do want to go back to receiver and running back for a moment because we did not draft any so far. There are two substantive trades, according to Jerry Jones, that are in the works. And he said that it could happen before, which it did not happen, the draft. And then he said it could happen during or after the draft. So when you're looking at this now, we're looking at maybe after the draft. There's 2 trades the Cowboys are looking to maybe put together or have put together, and they're pretty substantial, according to Jerry Jones. Stephen Jones said earlier today, on 105.3 The Fan, you can check this, that those 2 trades that are substantive trades, and I believe it's running back and receiver.
Okay.
Definitely running back. How about that? Running back. I don't know about receiver, but running back for sure. These 2 trades are still, he said, Stephen Jones, quote, are still in play. Now, they bullshit us all the time. So I'm not going to put too much into this, but it seems like the Cowboys not even looking at running backs or receivers in the first 3 rounds of the draft. Anything after this is basically you might as well make a trade for somebody.
The thing is, I actually believe it a tiny bit more than I usually would, because there was a different comment by Stephen Jones where he basically kind of confirmed, at least from the Cowboys side of things, they're like, the draft is still very deep at running back, and there's still a lot of running backs that we like that are still there. So,
well,
I'm just saying that adds, because that comment was made before that other comment. Right. So it adds a little bit of weight to, hey, we are willing to move around and try to make a move because there's still guys that we like.
I mean, Jerry Jones said it on Tuesday, and then Stephen Jones confirmed it today. That all that's still in motion. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'll believe it when I see it. And if listen, the thing is that we got Javonte Williams running back. I mean, he's basically what we're going to trade for. Someone who's a little better than him. I mean, is that going to? That's what I'm trying to say. It don't even seem worth it anymore unless the Cowboys. I mean, who else can really be that showstopper? We're gonna Zeke. I'm just saying, like, this is dumb. This is like Javonte Williams is the best guy we're going to have right now running back with the way things are going. And I don't know who we're going to trade a lot of cap value. I mean, draft value for a fucking running back that we don't want to even, we worry about them paying them money because they get hurt all the time. And, you know what I'm saying? They're not used anymore in the NFL. I don't understand it, but that's the running back situation. I believe there's a trade in the works for a running back. Unless some guy falls in the 5th round for the Cowboys. We have no 4th round pick. So unless some guy falls in the 5th round that the Cowboys love, jumps off the paper for them, and they're going to use him as a starting running back, and that's the route they go. That's an option. We talked about the Stephon Gilmore situation. He went and visited. We got a cornerback today. Does that change anything? That's a good question, but we'll have, that's something we're going to have to wait and see on. And really on the injury situation on this cornerback, which we're going to talk about shortly. But, I mean, there was guys out there when this cornerback was out there, okay? So the Shavon, is that right? Shavon. When he was out there, we had a guy, was it Caden Smith? I don't know, Caden, a running back from Iowa, who to me is a hard-nosed running back. I'd say he's the cheaper, lesser version of Trayvon Henderson. And he was sitting right there. He was drafted a couple picks after us as well, after our pick, and he's gone. And I'm just thinking to myself, man, I mean, I guess the Cowboys are not serious about getting a running back, or I guess this Caden guy from Iowa would not match what the Cowboys are looking for. What the fuck are the Cowboys looking for? This guy has the ability to block, catch the ball at the backfield, run hard-nosed, north-south, don't play around. What are they looking for? Like the perfect running back that they're going to then release in 4 years anyways? Like, that make no fucking sense. So, when I see Trayvon Henderson, who is the best blocking running back, one of the best, he plays receiver as well, and he's sitting there 3 picks away, and you let him go to the Browns, I don't even know the Browns, wherever he went, you let him get away from you. That's another situation where you have 10 picks in your Cowboys and a bunch in the 6th and 7th. You got 5 picks in the 6th and 7th round. Why wouldn't you package some picks and move up and grab this guy? No, I guess they don't want a running back. They want to just make the trade. That's what it's about. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
The other thing to kind of keep in mind when we're having these discussions, at least from the Cowboys' perspective, when it comes to day 3, we've already locked in one of our draft picks. Jerry said, he's like, we consider Mingo our 4th round pick.
Yeah.
So I think it's relevant to this discussion, just because we're talking about trading or moving up and down and stuff. Like for the Cowboys, that's locked in. So I think it adds more weight to kind of what you said. It seems like that's the more likely move when it comes to our wide receiver, our wide receiver 2. So
whether the trade will be for a receiver as well, I don't know. But running back, I'm going to guess, is definitely in the mix. Take a look at the bottom of your screen right now. Traded away to Carolina. Our 4th round pick. That's pick 114.
Yeah.
And that is wide receiver Jonathan Mingo. That is our pick for tomorrow in round 4. You guys feel me on this? I mean, this is just the way it works. And then look at round 5. That's would have been our next pick. Traded away to New England.
Yeah.
Round 5 pick. That's pick number 171. It's a comp pick as well. And that's what I'm going to talk about right now. Joe Milton III. Joe Milton III is our backup quarterback. It will not be Shedeur Sanders like some people may want.
Yeah.
That is our draft pick, Joe Milton III. He is our backup to Dak Prescott. And let me just quickly talk about Joe Milton. The Cowboys. This happened, and I didn't mention this. It happened a couple weeks ago, but it happened during the annual meetings in Palm Beach, and the Cowboys made this was their third trade of the offseason, and their final trade of the offseason so far. And we acquired from the Patriots quarterback Joe Milton III. We also got it, and you see it right there at the bottom there in the 7th round. We got a 7th round pick as well as Joe Milton. So we got Joe Milton and we got a 7th rounder. But we did give up that 5th round pick like I showed you guys already. So we got a pick back in the 7th round, basically an undrafted guy, and a backup quarterback behind Dak who's mobile, strong arm. I'm going to talk about in a minute. And never really given a chance there in New England. So this move, okay, again, to me, when I saw this move made, it's an improvement on the Trey Lance disaster. Trading a 4th rounder for Trey Lance, we traded a 5th rounder for a guy who has a much higher upside.
Yeah.
So this, to me, the Cowboys, the front office, do deserve to get kudos for this. I like our 5th round pick. Not being Shedeur Sanders. Although I will say this: what if Shedeur Sanders dropped to that spot? What would Jerry Jones want? Would he want Sanders or Milton? Because I think he'd want Sanders.
Seabass just said, "We the ACL boys."
It's far from over with that. Yeah, we're coming with that pick there. But when it comes to Milton, I will say this, guys: we got Milton. We got a 7th round pick, basically an undrafted. But here's the key thing. New England had better offers for Milton. And it might have been in the AFC. They just wanted him out of the AFC East, definitely out of the AFC. But the Patriots sent him to where he wanted to go, according to reports, instead of where they wanted to send him. And he wanted to come to Dallas.
Nice of them.
He wanted to come to Dallas. So he chose Dallas where he knows he's not going to be an immediate challenger to Dak Prescott. But Milton's family, they have an affinity for the Cowboys, of course. That's maybe every team. Every team kind of says that once they go to that team. But okay, they love the Cowboys. But to him, it fulfills a dream to live in Texas. The trade also gives the Cowboys control of a talented prospect for 3 more years.
Yeah.
So we got him for 3 years. All right, that's another important thing there. And just think of the Trey Lance edition, but with a much, much cheaper contract and with a more immediate need. So the reason the Cowboys got a better backup at quarterback now than, let's say, Trey Lance or Cooper Rush, a couple of different reasons for that. I want to start saying it with Milton's kind of background. 6th round pick in 2024. But his stock went through the roof after the Patriots' last regular season game. He threw for 241 yards, completed 76% of his passes, and had 2 total touchdowns, a run and a pass. But it became apparent that the Patriots could look on to and move on from him and look to other people that maybe they signed Josh Dobbs. And that in turn made him the starter, gave no options for Milton. And the Cowboys jumped at the opportunity to go grab Milton. So now, when you look at the combine, he ran a 4.65 in the 40 for a quarterback. That's pretty fucking fast. And he has a build of he's 6'5", 235. I mean, that's a stud quarterback right there who can, he's not gonna get killed and run over. You know what I'm saying? And he's tall. He's got the frame. He's got the physical traits that teams love, not only in backup quarterbacks, but of course in starter caliber quarterbacks. And that's why New England did not want to part with Milton for a day 3 pick. They were going to get a better deal. They were going to get probably a 3rd rounder or something like this, maybe a 4th rounder, but they decided to give him up for the 5th rounder. It's crazy. We got a 7th rounder back as well. So either way, guys, they wouldn't part with him for a day 3 pick. And the thing is this, then they gave him the boot. We don't know what the reason is. We'll see. The Cowboys is worth the risk to me. But here's the other thing that's great. Milton, who was drafted in the 6th round, is going to make a total of $3.225 million over the next 3 years. So it's an average of just a little over $1 million, $1.05 million per year is his cost on the cap for us. So listen, We can say what you want. We don't know what's going to happen over the next 3 years with him, but
As of now, it seems very reasonable
very
and worth the
reasonable. The
chance,
total cost
right?
of this, he's basically, he's just a guy we drafted. So last year we drafted him. He got drafted last year, but we drafted him basically this year,
Yeah,
and that's our 5th round pick. So the thing is we paid Trey Lance last year. A lot of money for a third string quarterback,
way too much
and
money.
then we
Yeah,
also gave up a 4th rounder to get him to us, right? His current deal, this when it comes to Milton's current deal alone, is cheaper not only than Trey Lance's if we had even re-signed him or we've had him for the last couple of years, but Cooper Rush as a backup to Lamar Jackson in Baltimore is getting paid more money than Joe Milton III.
mm,
So you can, I would without question, guys, would rather have Joe Milton III than Cooper Rush. I know some of you guys say hell no. Well, here I'll tell you why. With the acquisition of Milton, the Cowboys bring in a young quarterback that has really wowed a lot of people with the fact that he has a cannon for an arm. This is not disputed. This has been known. There's videos out there that prove and show this. He can bomb. He throws it 100 yards. I mean, he has a cannon for an arm, which most people consider, most analysts say he's the strongest arm in the league. And have some accuracy there. But Stephen Jones was asked about the Cowboys' vacancy at backup spot, and he said that basically, we're looking at the full package, and we're trying to get the best guy that gives us, for the future going out there and competing. Someone, he said, basically competes with Will Greer because we got Will Greer back. I know some of you guys forgot that. And is in a room with Dak Prescott, can learn from him. So the key is Will Greer is the practice squad third stringer,
yeah,
while Milton learns from both of them, but is involved in the scheme, which also is a big thing. Cooper Rush, we have to cut back things in the scheme that Dak can do
yeah.
and move
It
around,
feels more.
and Cooper Rush cannot do. Well, Milton can do this.
It feels
So
more
can Greer.
Jordan Love esque.
Hmm.
And I think, and I don't want to take all the credit here because you might have made a comment or two about it, like as it was happening, comparing it to that.
I don't want to put it that high up, but yeah.
No, but it's more just the dynamic in the sense of you get this, quality backup that gets all the benefits of learning from this guy who's currently actively starting.
Right.
There's no rush to start him. And when the timing aligns right, as long as he's developed enough, he can take over as the starter and basically just have a more smooth transition there.
If Milton can,
obviously Dak is not the drama queen that Aaron Rodgers is.
But we saw what happened. What happened? Go back 2 years ago. We got Trey Lance, and what happened? That was the guy who was gonna push Dak out if possible, and they, Jerry Jones went for it and missed. Now they're gonna hope that this one is what basically when Dak's contract becomes voidable, is when Milton can take over in a year or two.
Exactly.
For the Dak haters, it's probably music to your ears. But here's the key: Milton, like you said, baby, Milton has to develop. If it's not developed, it's a waste. He could throw the ball through the fucking goalpost, but who cares if you can't accurately throw it? Everything's a pick. So Dak stays, or we draft someone else. Like Archie Manning. I don't know, but my point is this: is that right now the Cowboys, in my opinion, adding with Will Greer, who's mobile, but he's not as good as doesn't have the upside. His ceiling's been reached. He's like Cooper Rush, but mobile. Maybe Cooper Rush is better for like a structured offense, but Will Greer can maybe follow along with the Dak Prescott kind of game plan a little easier. But he's nowhere can handle if Cooper Rush can beat him. You know what I'm saying? And it can beat Trey Lance. Then these guys who are more mobile don't mean shit. But Milton has a much higher upside, and he is a mobile quarterback, so he will fit a little more smoothless transition if something happens to Dak. That we know this guy can kind of pick up the playbook and kind of keep it where it's at. And still be mobile, be dangerous, like in a lot of Dak ways. That's what I'm trying to say. The Cowboys accomplished their goal of getting younger at quarterback. Once again, trying to develop a quarterback like we did with Trey Lance, using a trade like we did with Trey Lance behind Dak Prescott, right? Very similar to the 4th-round pick we wasted in 2023 for Trey Lance, but with just one game. He only had one game under his belt, in the NFL last year. There'll be a lot of work for his development, but Milton, again, has a lot of upside and extreme athletic ability for the Cowboys to work with. And I kind of say this because we're talking about Shedeur Sanders, who has great athletic ability, who's player of the year in college. But all that stuff, I'm saying, he's still dropping into the 4th round. So this is where we got Milton in the 5th round. Now, I'm not trying to compare. I don't know if Sanders is better than Milton or not. Who knows? But the talent, according to most, even though he's not a proven product from most analysts, just like Sanders, there's talent there, and it's undeniable. Milton's arm strength is one of the best in the NFL. Even just entering his second season, he makes it look easily. He casually launches the ball from one end of the field to the other. Watch the video. It's viral. It's unbelievable. But again, he had, didn't do anything in the NFL yet. He had one game. One game. At the combine, his throw was clocked as the fastest of all his peers. 62 miles per hour. So you better be able to catch that ball, CD. And Dallas's offense has been capped by, without Dak Prescott when you throw Cooper Rush in there. This is what I said. When you're adding someone Milton, it kind of continues that kind of ability, or not ability, but the I can't now. It's not coming to my
Yeah, I'm
mind.
not sure what word you were
Well,
using
the
there. It's
game,
been a while.
like, I guess the game plan. You don't have to rearrange the game plan. You keep the game plan, whatever it was. Milton can at least he can
Like
be
slot into
mobile
that.
in that
Yeah.
in that in that scheme. So my point is this: is that Rush doesn't have the type of arm strength at all like Milton. He has more accuracy, but not arm strength, and it doesn't. Again, it has trouble fitting it in deep passes. Cooper Rush in a tight space. Again, this is where Milton is better. Passes are a little more accurate for him. But again, when you watch Rush with the Cowboys, we're forced to change our offense to a more slow, methodical play because of Rush's athletic limitations and lack of arm talent slash arm strength. Milton also has mobility, which isn't, of course, Rush doesn't have it. So we will. It's too soon to tell about Milton. He's like a rookie. Just think of him as our rookie quarterback. Okay, Joe
Mm-hmm.
Milton, and he is our backup right now. Who needs development. So that is a draft pick for me. In my mind, that is a draft pick, even though it was a trade. And
I think it's fair. Just like the way we've done it
yeah,
pretty much every year. Like we do consider those, you know, trades like that in the drafted category, just
yeah,
because it's like that's what we chose to do
right.
with our
We call
draft
them
pick, and that's what we did.
we call them draft picks. Some of them, like Brandon
Exactly.
Cooks or Gilmore, was a 1 year draft pick. Cooks was a 2 year draft pick.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But Milton's a 3 year draft pick. So or he's not good enough and he gets cut. Trey Lance was a 2 year draft pick. But an overreach on him. So, anyways, the point here is, yeah, too soon to tell. We'll see maybe the Cowboys will develop special packages this year for Milton. I think that'd be a smart thing for the Cowboys to do. If the Cowboys miss Dak Prescott to another injury, Milton will give the Cowboys an extra dimension that rather than just commit to the run. Obviously what we
Yeah.
do with Cooper Rush. So I'm just going to say this: the addition of Milton also improves our preseason fun because we're not going to see Dak at all probably in preseason,
Yeah.
but we're going to see a lot of Joe Milton, and I want to see what his man's got. I want to see what he's got because he's going to be able to showcase his talent, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. So that's kind of my 2 cents on Milton. I don't know if you have any thoughts on him, baby, or you maybe
I mean, no, you kind of touched on the few things that I was going to bring up, so I don't want to,
yeah,
just copycat you again. But yeah, not. I guess. Well, I guess I'll save my thoughts more for when we're talking about how we feel about the draft picks today overall. Just because individually, I don't have anything against either of them.
I mean, this would be more for
But yeah.
this pick is for tomorrow's pick in a way because we don't have a pick till the end of the 5th round. So 4th round pick is a receiver, Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah,
We know
that
it
Cowboys
already.
drafter was going to be collecting dust.
And then our next pick, our 5th. I know one of our picks we gave away for somebody else, but the other 5th round pick is for Joe Milton. So and now we have one more. The next pick will be in the 5th round at the end of the 5th round, a comp pick. So it kind of wraps up the Joe Milton. My point is, I'd rather have Joe Milton than pretty much any other quarterback out there for that 5th round pick. I will say this: if for some reason Shedeur Sanders drops down to the pick we gave up for Joe Milton, well, I think Jerry Jones would have been kicking himself. No one would have thought that would have happened, though. If they thought that would have happened, the Cowboys would have waited on this pick. I think they would have rather get Shedeur Sanders, in the 5th round than Joe Milton.
Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe the fact that, well, I guess this was done before everything went down, right? So they had no way of
It
knowing.
was like 3 weeks ago it was done, yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify that. If there's any quick comments, please hit me up with that, maybe. But
So
I'm gonna move to the next topic, which is our 2 draft picks, and we're calling it a night.
let me see here. Going back specific. Sorry, there's a few other comments there. We need Shedeur Sanders. Here we go. So Madman said, "Who would say no to Milton? He's miles above Rush."
I agree, 100%, 100% there.
Seabass said, "Cooper Rush had them stone feet. I'll take Milton."
Yeah, and you have to redo your offensive scheme.
The dude said, "Milton's athletic with a big size and big arm.
Yep.
He's a project though, which is fine for the backup role.
Correct.
Dak gets hurt."
Correct. Well, Dak gets hurt, he gets to play in there, and even if he's the best quarterback on earth, Dak's still gonna have that price tag.
Yeah.
I have to wait one more year of getting him ready to take over for Dak.
Yeah.
And in that third year of his contract, probably the earliest you'll see Milton starting for the Cowboys if he actually develops and is that great. But if he takes over for Dak and half a season plays great, that could be the Romo situation happening to Dak.
Yeah.
You just never know. You really just never know. But anyways, I do know one thing. I do know our next two picks of the draft. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to not Jonathan Mingo and Joe Milton in the 4th and 5th round. I'm talking about today's pick, 2nd round pick and 3rd round pick. So here, real quick, guys, tell me what you think. I know you guys. What's the poll so far when it comes to our draft pick for not the overall, not yesterday. Yesterday we got a B. I'd say a B, C kind of pick.
Definitely a little bit more mixed today than it was yesterday. We have 47 votes so far. We asked you guys, how do you grade 2 days? Round 2 and 3 picks. So we have 36% voting AB.
Wow, that's
26% with a BC. And then basically 19 and 19. So 20% each basically is CD or DF. So,
wow.
Like I said, a little bit more mixed.
Man, I'm shocked because it's so high still. Honestly, I thought it would get worse grades today.
I disagree. Like, I'm surprised more in the sense, like, I'm surprised it's as equal in a way as it is. I'm not surprised a lot of people like it just because I know why. And I feel like that 2nd round pick is carrying a little bit.
I think the 2nd round pick is the nicer pick, but I still think the Cowboys, a lot of disappointment in not getting a running back. Some people are pissed.
Well, but according to Steven, he's not that pissed because they're
trade possibility, but
not even that. But they said they're like, we're happy with the depth at running back.
Right, they got enough guys. They're gonna get a day 3 running back, another Deuce Vaughn. No, I'm just joking. I don't know. There's still hopefully a guy they can bring in. But my thing is, there's a lot of people can bitch about the running back. Listen, if Trayvon Henderson was there and the Cowboys did not pick him, I would have been fucking pissed off. But this is an under the radar guy who is actually really good. And Donovan is again. I'm gonna do my best here. Is it
Ezeiruaka? You see, you're fucking me up.
Ezeiruaka. Donovan Ezeiruaka as an edge rusher. He's not I'm not gonna say a defensive edge. He's an edge rusher. There's a difference in that in a way. He's like a Micah Parsons. Not really a DeMarcus Lawrence.
Okay, I do think that
makes a difference.
Yes, it's good to clarify.
Marcus Lawrence is also an edge rusher, but he was more of a DE than a edge. Micah's more of an edge than a DE, and a DE can kind of stop the run, be a 3-down guy at full time. I think Sam Williams is a guy who is more like a Micah or maybe more like a Ezeiruaka. So, anyways, Cowboys are trusting the board, their board. Even though most people say defensive end for the Cowboys is not a critical need. But like I've said, you can never have enough pass rushers, and the Cowboys believe that as well. Going by their board, they're looking at the athletic testing from Ezeiruaka, and he's 6'2", a little shorter than I wanted, and 248 pounds, a lot lighter than I'd like, but he is a pass rusher, and he's very fast. If you look at him, he's almost like Micah Parsons-ish in that size range. No 40-yard dash or 10-yard split, but he did have a vertical jump of 35.5, broad jump of 9 feet 11 inches, 3 cone. It was 6.94 seconds. The short shuttle was 4.19, and the bench press, he did 22 bench press reps. Again, 21 for our offensive lineman over there. But the key is that quickness, that cutting ability. That 20-yard shuttle, 92 percentile. The 3-cone drill, 91 percentile. The broad jump, 66. The vertical jump, 75th. So, again, as a pass rusher, he's fantastic when it comes to cutting. taking the edge. He does have a lot of a lot of stuff in his backpack, so to speak, when it comes to
Yeah.
techniques and pass rush style. So it kind of reminds me a little of DeMarcus Lawrence in that sense, in the pass rushing side. But in the run stopping side is the issue for him. He is not a good edge setter, which scares me a bit. So his stats are Ezeiruaka, his stats and accolades. He played in 10 games in 2022. He had only 10 games, but he had 21 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks. And as a rookie in 2023, when I say rookie, as a freshman, as a sophomore, he played in 12 games. 11 of those were starts. He had 61 tackles, 14 and a half tackles for loss, and 8.5 sacks. Now that's a big improvement, a big jump. Also had 3 forced fumbles and 2 pass breakups. He was second team All ACC. And then last year he played in 12 games. Out of those 12, 11 of them were starts. Upped it again from 61. Now he had 80 tackles last year, 20 and a half tackles for loss, up 6 from 14 and a half, and 16 and a half sacks last year. Almost doubling his number from the year before. So already you can see, even playing in the same amount of games, he's getting better. It's almost like a double jump every year in college for him. He doubled himself. He was a first team associate AP All American, an ACC Defensive Player of the Year, first team All ACC, won the Ted Hendricks Award, which goes to the nation's top defensive edge rusher.
Hmm.
So he might have, again, technically the best edge rusher there.
Good for him.
So a consensus All American in 2024. Like I said, ACC Defensive Player of the Year in 2024, first team All ACC in 2024, and of course that Ted Hendricks Award in 2023. Get the second team All ACC. That's the things you need to know about him. He's just gotten so much better. You see the improvement from rookie to sophomore to junior or whatever in those 3 years. I don't know if they start as a sophomore, junior, senior. My point is that the guy has shown great development, and should be continuing with us with Sam Williams coming back from injury. Micah on that field. We also got a couple of new names. Again, we did a lot of guys. We got, I think, a couple of them were pass rushers, if I'm not mistaken. We got Peyton Turner from the Saints, who's a pass rusher. Of course, we brought back Tyrus Wheat. We brought Dante Fowler literally back from Washington, who had 8 sacks last year. I mean, my point is, we got guys already.
Freaking court.
You throw in there Micah Parsons, Sam Williams, and now Ezeiruaka. I mean, we got a fucking shitload of fucking pass rushers right now. So I'm not crying there. I always think trenches win games, win Super Bowls. The trenches. We went an offensive guard yesterday. And we went with a defensive pass rusher today. These are the trenches. So on that side of things, I understand it to an extent. I understand almost the safeness of this move here. The issues, though, I do not like he's an undersized pass rusher. The good thing, though, he has the elite length, 34-inch arms. He has elite lateral movement skills. He has the ability to be a 3-down player, although still needs to get better at the run stop. But he's much more finesse right now than power when it comes to his style of play. He's good at slipping blocks and digging under corners under the corner, not cornerbacks, but under corners of a player to rack up pressures, sacks, to get tackles for losses on running backs. But do not expect him to take on contact often. He usually tries to get run around the guy, then take on the hit. He can be enveloped at his smaller size, which is why he uses his evasiveness and his movement, kind of like Micah, to stay cleaner before attacking and stabbing through the line to make the play. So again, his length can be a ready-made problem for opposing offensive tackle. Just naturally, he's already an issue with his length.
Yeah.
Combined with that, and I say length, I mean his arms, his 34-inch arms. But combining that with the bend and quick twitch that he has, you saw in the combine, you see it, if you watch the improvement every year. Again, when he's rushing, a lot of tight ends going to go against him too as an edge, right? There's rarely a tight end that stood a chance against his cross chop and slap technique. A little DeMarcus Lawrence like there, right? So he's very sure of his footwork. So that's already comes ready to go. He rarely wastes motion on his get off. He's very quick, and he's good in getting his counter moves going. Like I said, that cross chop and slap, it's like he's got it like the back of his hand. He got this thing down. He is a 4-year senior, so it was my fault in 2022. But he's a 2-year captain. The last 2 years, a captain of the team. Is also so that's leadership right there. Again, another green flag for leadership. Again, we heard about our pick yesterday. It was a leader, right?
Exactly, and not just that,
Another
but
leader now. So we're
going into the whole, Shedeur Sanders. I'm just saying, like
yeah,
it
the
seems
lack of
that
leadership
if
from
you want to
Shedeur.
talk about a theme for the draft this year, it seems like
Well,
leadership, at
remember,
least from the Cowboys' perspective,
when-
is a big one. There seems like they're trying to really reestablish at a few different positions and stuff, someone who can take over, someone who can contribute and be a leader. Maybe not necessarily now because all these guys are rookies and shit, but like they're trying to lay that foundation
well,
for that next
right.
generation of
The thing
leaders
is
on the
that
team.
here's my thing. As a second round pick, even though he's got all these great things here and he's a leader, listen, I like leaders too. And the last 2 years we went from glass eaters,
I
you know what
know.
I'm saying, and these tougher guys, these assholes, to now we want leaders all of a sudden again. So now we changed the shift of the draft to
Okay, so is
leaders.
that a Schottenheimer
It
influence?
sounds like it. But my point is this: is that I'm going to explain my issue though with this pick, even though he got all these great little things. Again, a young, again, great for leadership,
Hmm.
right? Especially on a Cowboys young defensive line for the most part. But he's young too, obviously. We need production, and we're going to need it. And the biggest issue to me is stopping the run. So if he's already bad at stopping the run, how can he be a 3-down player right now? All right. We're going to need him help in the run defense. He's They say he's solid in this area, but I'm not going to overhype it the way the Cowboy fans will. And he's not that good at setting the edge. He needs a lot of help there to truly get to the next level. He's going to have to add muscle mass, increase his power overall. That's what's going to happen in weight training, but that usually happens in his after year one going into year two. So I say this: you get the better version of this guy, Ezeiruaka, in year two. As a rookie, he's going to be a rotational backup. And as a second round pick, it's a little disappointing. And that's my point. Sam Williams back. A couple other we got Fowler back, paying him pretty decent money.
Yeah.
We got a couple other guys in the mix that still can pass rush and give for that help you need. He's one of those guys. Second round pick. We got the rookie last year. He got hurt. He came back. What's his name? Was it Moreland? Nealon? He's a guy. He's a guy we got in the second round last year. We just bring in another second rounder. My
Yeah.
confusion is I love a lot of pass rushers, but now we are almost overdoing it to a point where it's being detrimental to the team. And is this guy, has he played the best talent in his conference that he played in? Because that to me is another issue. We talk about the good and bad here, guys, not just the good. So to finish him up, and I want you to tell me about it. I want to know what the people in the chat quickly, unless they drop love and we read their comment, we'll quickly go through their comments real quick. But the strengths, he has length. He has elite arm length and stays clean. Very productive with tackles for losses. So even though he's not a run stopper, he does get in the backfield, cause havoc. A little Micah-like, right? Creates tackle for losses. He also has 16 and a half sacks last year. That's second in the whole country. Of course, a lesser conference, but the second best in 2024. He has great techniques, especially with the when he has a well-timed arm over chop move. When he chops down your arm, he has a great strength power there to be able to do that. He's explosive laterally to evade and slip around blocks. So he's left and right movement, quick, but not really the power to go forward into a guy. And he also jump cuts through blockers' arms without much declaration, which without basically slowing down. And that will draw flags on offensive linemen grabbing him, pulling him to the ground, getting there to him late because he's so fast.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Micah, right, in that sense. But what's his weaknesses? Does not possess elite closing speed. So he's not there for the run. Even maybe closing in on the quarterback. Maybe not all there, right? Sometimes he cuts inside too often and allows quarterbacks to scramble right in the hole. He just try to scoot around and run around using his speed. He's also, as I said, undersized at 6'2". He's under 250 pounds. That's where he's at right now. He needs to get bigger. He lacks the strength to stack and push back and press and shed blockers consistently. He'll do it once in a while, but consistently, no. He'll be Mozzie Smith stuck in the fucking mud if he does not get developed better and get stronger. He also needs to settle in space to keep quarterbacks and ball carriers from shaking him and tricking him. He comes at you, one little move, boom, he's down. Even though he's got the good cutting ability, natural like movement. He's not great with that. He's good at naturally getting around guys. Maybe not closing it and finishing the job. He also will struggle, like I said, and this is the biggest issue I have. He will struggle to set the edge in the run game. Maybe not in college, but against NFL linemen, he's in trouble. So we gotta have a lot of improvements. This is a second round pick, and so my biggest issue wasn't really the pick. It's more about the position that we kind of are overdoing, in my opinion. I don't really hate the guy at all. I think he's got a lot of room for improvement. He'll be great. I mean, he'll be a good player. He'll be someone that will make noise. But to me, was it 3 years ago? We got
Yeah.
Sam Williams at this spot in the second round. Last year we got Marshawn Nealon in the second round. Now we got another guy pass rushing. Plus we're bringing Fowler. Like I think it's an overkill for a second round pick. Is it me? Am I crazy? You guys tell me.
I don't think so, because like I said, there's nothing wrong with him, like as an individual or a player or whatever. But when you're looking at the bigger picture of the Cowboys, that's where I start to question it a little bit. And I feel like that is a fair and valid criticism, right? Like
Right.
he's got some good, he's got some bad, just like every other drafted player, just like every other NFL player. But how exactly does this fit into the bigger picture? Because, like, even when we're talking about this supposedly big trade the Cowboys have in mind
A
and all this
receiver and
other
a tight
stuff,
end. I mean, a receiver and a running back in the mix, and so who knows?
it just, I don't know if it makes the best sense. So, and yeah, my other concern is the immediate impact factor.
Right.
That to me
There's
is
no space
the
for him right
bigger
now.
one. I mean,
Sam Williams
shit, it
coming back from
was
injury, right?
exactly. I mean, we are not in a position where we can afford to have a second or a third round pick basically not immediately contribute in some capacity.
With all the holes we talked about on this team, and this is the choice we make to plug up a spot that's already kind of plugged up with a lot of free agency. We spent a lot of money there, whether it was Saints guy or Fowler back. Or
Mhm.
my point is that we're going to get Sam Williams back. We got Marshawn Nealon.
Mm.
Yeah, that's 4 or 5 guys already. This guy's our sixth guy, and he's our second round pick. You guys feel what I'm saying here? So I'm kind of on him too. I see you there, the dude, and Madman.
Mhm.
Everybody, listen. It's just you can never be like pissed about offense about pass rushers. I get it, but I can be pissed about maybe taking one too early. And there's guys there we could have taken, and I don't have their names on me right now. But the guy, a receiver from Iowa.
And Seabass, I know. I'm reading.
What did he say?
He said that's what I've been saying. FCW, say it louder. Like we do not have the luxury to do this. We don't have the luxury
you.
of
I'll try-
getting guys, even if they're good, even if they're whatever, if they're not going to be an immediate impact. It's a little different when you're talking about a fifth rounder. But we just got a second round pick that's going to have to sit there and fight out. He's already only going to play around half the snaps defensively,
Mm.
right? And on top of that, he's
Not
got to sit
even
there and
half.
fight Sam. Yeah,
Half? No, he's gonna play 20%, if that.
but then he has to sit there and fight Sam Williams too. Like,
Yeah.
and
And Nealon.
it's
Nealon's a second
I
round
don't
pick
know.
last year, baby. Marshawn Nealon and Sam Williams are 2 second round picks. And we have Micah Parsons. We're going to move Micah to linebacker, or what are we
The
doing?
Cowboys must know something about Sam Williams that we don't yet.
I don't know, but this is
That's
an
the
issue.
only thing that maybe makes some
Yeah.
sense. Also,
I mean, I
my
understand.
little conspiracy theory, I haven't seen any information on this or whatever, but how do the Cowboys not get to 44 and not trade down? I'm still really surprised we
No?
just kind of stayed there and picked someone.
You know what you know what I said at the beginning. We go to the next player, but actually, I want to know what the people think in the chat. But
The bigger consensus is that, like,
what?
Chizu said it. I'm not sold on who we have as pass rusher though. So
Yeah, but is Zuraku selling you? Because he's not selling me yet. I mean,
the dude
he's
said maybe
undersized.
he'll show up at the next level, but for right now, I'm just kind of like,
I am too. I'm just like, let's see which one of this group of guys will come out of this. Because Fowler's not here forever. We're looking at guys like, is Sam Williams going to be able to handle it with Micah? Is it going to be someone like Ezeiruaka? Is it going to be Marshawn Nealon?
mhm.
But it's like we're throwing a lot of second round picks and hoping something sticks. And so far, everything's slipping off. So I'm not a big fan about this move here, but in the sense of not that he's not a player that can be developed into something in the future, but for a team like us that needs some answers now, and we have other spots that we have nothing in, and we're sitting here fucking around, that's a problem. Listen, the Cowboys, obviously, like I said, the first thing I said to this thing is they're sticking to their board. So they're not trading. They see their
Yeah.
player. Oh, this is a great player. Now listen, I will say this: this guy was like a top 20, top 30 prospect. So it's not like he's a shitty player. He's very good. They see the potential in this guy. He's got to get a little more muscle mass, but the Cowboys went with the player that they have in free agency addressed for now, and in a position. I'm sorry, a player at a position where we've addressed already for the most part in free agency. The one thing we don't do ever is address anything in free agency. We address a little bit, we kind of clear up things a little bit better and make it maybe one of our best spots in the sense after free agency, we do a horrible job at. And then we go grab another second round, 3 years in a row, second round defensive edge rusher in the draft. It just confuses me, and I don't know. Now, you want confusing? You want instant impact?
Mm,
You want question marks? That's our next pick, and
I want it all.
that is pick number 76. Please help me with this. Shavon,
No, so
God damn it, Savon Revel.
yeah.
Oh, Savon. All right,
Shavon Revel.
Savon Revel.
Think of it like French
I
with the
know.
silent H.
Savon Revel from East Carolina, and he's a cornerback, which I thought that we would go for, but this guy, him and Will Smith, Will Thomas. There was another guy that Will Thomas. I don't know. It was a guy up there that was ranked really high, a top 10 look, and he was picked. And I was like, man, why is he still there? Well, he had an ACL, he had an injury, a knee injury, something in I don't know at the end of the year of the school year. Then I see another guy on the top of this list, and I see his name is I thought it was Shavon Revel, but it's obviously Savon Revel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and I'm like, why is this guy still here? He's like a top 20 guy. And I realized that, oh yeah, he tore his knee in September. So the Cowboys drafted a guy who was just injured, and it'll be a year in September. A rookie. Haven't we learned from Michael Gallup? Haven't we learned a little bit from Terrence Steele? Not re-sign guys that are coming off ACL injuries, and then we sign a rookie in the second round. We draft a rookie in the second round that literally has not played since his ACL tear. So let's get to the nitty gritty. This pick went to the wire, by the way. The Cowboys not pick is in right away. This one, the Cowboys are trying to figure out what to do here. They debated multiple positions and needs at multiple spots, but they ultimately went with cornerback and Revel. Now, this guy is a very good cornerback, great cornerback, but it's those issues with injuries. It's like a freaking Jalen Smith feeling here a little bit. So a cornerback is a position where, again, I want to make sure I bring up some names here. We got Deron Bland, right? But we also going to be with someone like Trayvon Diggs without him
Yeah.
for a bit of the season. I don't care what anyone's saying out there. He's going to miss at least a month or several weeks of the 2025 NFL season due to his recovery from that season-ending knee injury that happened late last year in the season, right? So, again, who was our third corner was Jordan Lewis, who is, of course, now with Jacksonville. So who are the Cowboys talking about? Josh Butler. Josh Butler? Trayvon Diggs ain't there. We got Bland, and then we got Josh Butler, who, by the way, he tore his ACL last year. Former fifth-round pick, Kalen Carson, which didn't show much.
Really are the ACL boys.
Well, I mean, but he didn't show much, though, right? And then, he also came
Not
back.
the point. Just
I know, a lot of
comment made
ACLs.
earlier in the chat. I can't remember who it was, but someone had said
ACL
something similar. Yeah.
boys. Yeah, we got a lot of ACL issues on this team, unfortunately. But don't forget, Kalen Carson was our what was it? A former fifth-round pick, Kalen Carson. He had a season-ending injury on his shoulder last year. Kalen Carson, remember earlier in the season, but still. So we got a guy who played half a year, Kalen Carson, with that shoulder injury. Josh Butler, who tore his ACL, who's an undrafted guy. Jordan Lewis left. Trayvon Diggs is going to be out for at least a couple of weeks to a month, at least. All we got is and Jordan Lewis, like I said, went to the Tennessee, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we only have Deron Bland starting right now. Because I'm sorry, Josh Butler, Kalen Carson, they better not be out on that field. They better not be on that fucking field starting. So we do have the re-signing of Israel Mukuamu. who I guess we can say, okay, there you go. Well, Mukwamo is a good player overall, can do a lot of things. Safety, corner, slot. He can play a lot. Yeah, say slot, say nickel, cornerback. So yeah, that's great. But even with that signing, is not the answer. So this is where this Shavon Revel comes in. And things to know about him, real quick, guys. Very good cornerback when he's on that field. Second team All ACC in 2023. He's a track and field athlete. He did the high jump, the meters, the long jump, the high jump. So again, great stuff. But then he injured his. I'm going to talk about his torn ACL in a minute. But here's the thing I will say about his torn ACL. The only good news about it: the surgery on his torn knee, on his torn ACL, was performed by the Dallas Cowboys doctor Dan Cooper. And Dan Cooper knows more about this injury than anybody else does. And he's one of the best, not just in the business, but in the world when it comes to torn ACLs. So the Cowboys know, trust me, he's had practice at it with our Cowboys. But every player goes to this guy for torn ACLs. So, he knows his stuff and he has like the most knowledge about things and he's our doctor. So a torn ACL is obviously what caused his stock to drop. He was going to be a first or early second round pick. But the surgery to repair it, the torn meniscus, was performed by the Cowboys doctor. So we have more information than any other team when you take into regarding his prognosis for the future. This is a good sign that we must know a little more. That Savion, Savion Revel's knee is in maybe a little bit structural better shape than anybody else may know. Either way, he knows. He was in there. He saw. He knows. He knows what the comeback is for it. And the Cowboys felt good in taking his word in this. Now, this injury and this torn ACL and the surgery for this occurred in September of 2024. Again, when we play our game, it'll be just maybe about a year since his surgery and his torn ACL. So this gives him a great, again, even though I don't want him rushed, I want his mentality good for that because you got to cut a lot as a cornerback, and that's me. He's got to have confidence. Just can't get thrown out in that field, especially as a rookie.
Yeah.
So at the very least, it gives him a great opportunity to potentially be ready to start training camp in July. Again, it's in late July, so we're still a couple months away. And with that extra time, he should be 100% to go, is the word I'm hearing. But if it's not right at training camp, it'll be shortly thereafter. He might be on the PUP list for like a week, and then he's back.
Yeah.
The point is, he needs to be comfortable and confident on that new knee, or else you might not put him out there. And if he is comfortable on knees out, and shows the ability he showed. Hopefully, he still has it. Remember, you come back from ACL, doesn't mean you're going to be the same way. If he shows that as a cornerback, he has a chance to be a starter for the Cowboys. That's the good sign in this whole thing. But it's a lot of ifs in there, right? A lot of injury shit too. And we already have Trayvon Diggs missing some of the year.
Yeah, to me that's the bigger thing. That so many of these ifs are contingent on healthy recovery, everything going smoothly.
Yeah, I mean a lot of ifs, and that's what worries me. I'm just being real. I'm not trying to sugarcoat this, guys. And I know our draft we put everything into it, but this baffles me a little bit. And there was a guy, and again, please, somebody in the chat tell me from Iowa, the running back I know it's not Caden Smith, but it's Caden something. Maybe someone can look him up for me.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, but I mean, my point is that he was an Iowa running back. He went about 4 or 5, maybe 6 picks after this third round pick for us. He was picked up, but I seen this guy's number, this Caden from Iowa running back, and I mean, this is the guy I would have loved to see on this team for 4 solid years. Doing the grunt work in there, and then you can decide whether or not you keep him or not. He's a third round.
Fagan?
No, Iowa or Iowa State. All right, let me just look him up.
Saying the name in the chat.
I'll look him up.
Caleb Johnson, maybe.
Let me see here. I don't know who the fuck he is now. No, one of these guys. Did I read his name
Johnson?
wrong?
I mean, I've seen Johnson.
I mean, it's Iowa State then. I don't know.
I'm only bet money Mr. MCF read the name wrong. Just throwing that out.
It's Caden something for sure. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's Caleb Johnson.
Oh, Caleb?
That's what I just said.
From Iowa
Because
State?
the only other Caden is Caden Fagan.
It's not him.
And then, okay, so then it's Caleb
Johnson.
Caleb. Yeah,
okay.
Caleb. Caleb Johnson. Yeah, Caleb Johnson. So, There you go, baby.
All right, I'm just looking him up so I can make sure I got him right. Yeah, he was drafted by the Steelers, by the way. It made me remember the fact that he never had to change his fucking uniform. It looks the same as a Steeler player already.
It does look like a
But my
Steelers
point is
player.
that this guy is 6'2", 225 pounds. He's fast as fuck. This guy would have been the guy I would have picked at that third spot. Instant impact in the third round. Does anybody have an issue with this pick here?
I mean,
I'm just saying, like there.
yes,
You have an issue with
honestly.
that? All right. I didn't mention,
Not,
obviously. Shit, I have an
not,
issue with getting a broken cornerback as a rookie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have loved to see him there, but all right. The Cowboys had other plans with cornerback. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about this running back, but to me, he seemed like the best prospect at that spot. We were not going to get him after this. And after that, I realized we're not worried about running back
I
anymore.
think it comes down to, again, what Stephen Jones said. They feel like there's more depth at running back
Hmm.
and that it
All right.
just wasn't as worth it. They'd rather get a guy in the 5th round that's a great deal
So
and a great steal or
6 feet,
something like that
225. Yeah, I know.
than get a guy, like you said, in the 3rd round that's fine, but maybe a bit of a reach or has more kind of question marks. They felt like
All right.
this was the safer way to go. Although I feel, again, now that we are discussed both of the draft picks that we've made.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, I just wanted to finish saying one last thing about this.
Yeah,
this
and Seabass, we got you, man. You know.
I want everybody to get their 2 cents in, but just to finish up about this cornerback, I think I've been hard on him right now. All right, but he's injured. What the fuck you want me to do, right? So height wise, I mean, he's 6'2", guys. This is a tall cornerback. He's very tall and lanky. He's in the 85th percentile in height at cornerback. He's fast as well. His weight, though, a little on a smaller side, only in the 37th percentile. But hand size to get those picks, 79th percentile. Arm length to get those picks and push off. You know, you'll be able to slow down receivers in those first 5 yards of bumping on the line of scrimmage. You're pressing arm length, so 86th percentile. So he's in the 86th in the arm length and 79th percentile in hand size. This guy right here, combination wise, arm wise, is fantastic. One of the best in the league as far as the draft is concerned. And then throw in there the wingspan. He's in the 94th percentile in wingspan. Talk about covering a piece of property. He's got long arms, big hands, and a huge wingspan. He's got speed. He's got the height. A prototypical top. He's got the first round cornerback before the injury. So there's a lot of great things about this guy. It's a Jalen Smith situation in my mind. So when you look at this guy, he's big, he's long, he's fast, he's physical. And that's what stands out. But he does play for East Carolina. We know that's not a big league, conference. Revel is leggy, though. When he matches press release, when he's in press coverage. So, again, a little negatives there. But he is disruptive once he gets his hands on the wide receiver. And that's what the hand size and the arm length. He's very good there. He does play upright in man coverage. And he also tends to allow small pockets of separation because he has a high center of gravity. Tall. Still needs improvement when it comes to finding, kind of tracking the ball and also defending the deep ball, especially when the deeper passes come. If he's there, he has trouble, kind of looking back, seeing where the ball is, aka tracking the ball in the air. You got a quick instinct there. Yeah, he's still behind on that stuff right there. That stuff you can hopefully help out in development, but he has, sometimes issues with staying in phase with vertical down the field routes. Now, again, like I said it multiple times, he has generational kind of length for a cornerback, good vision from the zone coverage side of things, and he should continue to improve in all kind of coverages as he gets more experience in the NFL.
Fan said it. Another player we have to hope can stay healthy, just like Diggs and Overshown.
Exactly. And when you look at this, Diggs and Overshown and Diggs got hurt on our team, right? But there's a guy. This guy came pre-hurt to us, which is my biggest issue. When you look at the size to speed, again, a 6'1", 6'2" frame, and the ability to run, the speed he has is eye-popping. That's why, he was a top pick, right? But and the long wingspan and all that stuff. But he also is a great tackler. I gotta add that in there. Does not shy away from tackles. He's a bigger guy, so he thrives to be able to get his hands on a running back or a receiver and just hit him. He's a hitter too, right? But he really loves to play press man coverage and get his hands on the receiver, slow him down. He plays sideline to sideline, but again, has enough speed and enough of the stride of his length to carry receivers up the field. But again, sometimes he's ball hawkish when he's tracking the ball right. I think he had 2 interceptions that exceeded 50 yards, so deep passes when he was in East Carolina. But the point is, there were probably things he could turn around and adjust for. It wasn't like in the middle of the actual pattern, which he has more of an issue. Backpedaling, he has an issue there. He has to stay low to the ground. He stands up too high. And again, he's not organically stands up in an upright position. It's something he has to improve on in the NFL with the Cowboys. So do not pencil him in, like I said, as a cornerback for the Cowboys to start. He's a long way to go, especially with the injury. But as for right now, he's not going to do any kind of slot or nickel cornerback coverage duties. That's not his thing. He is a boundary cornerback. All right, he's not a Jordan Lewis on the inside. He's a boundary guy, which tells me we're trying to move DaRon Bland back to the nickel cornerback spot to get the most out of DaRon Bland and have the bigger guys like Trayvon Diggs on one side and then Revel on the other side to kind of man the sidelines. This guy's got to, if he comes through for us, and Trayvon Diggs stays healthy, we got ourselves a damn good 1-2-3 core right there at cornerback. As you heard, the big word there is if. And we're playing a lot of ifs the last 29 years. We're Cowboy fans, and we look back at everything. So, again, guys,
I guess the one
he's going
positive
to
I'll
play. Yeah, if
say
he's
about
healthy, he'll be on that field, is my
yeah,
point.
the one positive I'll say about
If.
the Cowboys day 2 picks, I get it. I'm not a fan. Like I said, it's from like an individual player perspective. Okay, let me rephrase
Yeah.
because I think it started coming out wrong. I'm a fan of these players from an individual perspective, right?
Mhm.
They have some good, they have some bad. I'm definitely a little bit more weary about the injury factor, just because that to me is, like I said, like I agree with Seabass. It's like we basically just got another Overshown. We basically got another Trayvon Diggs, but a less healthy and less talented one.
Yeah.
So
It's.
but
I haven't. I voted on this one. What did you vote on this, by the way? I'm not
I
sure.
voted CD. And like I said, part of it is, and guys, real quick, last chance to vote on the poll here while I kind of give my reasoning for that.
Yeah.
But that's why I voted there. Like I said, from an individual player perspective, I probably would have voted more on the BC side of things.
Okay.
But to me,
If you had
it
to pick a
is
letter,
that
which one would it
it's
be?
the
A C?
impact factor. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm going with CD as well, but I go D. And I
Like I said, the lack of the immediate impact factor to me is the reason why it's so make or break.
Right.
We just got 2 guys at 2 positions that aren't even going to have what?
Well, I'm listening.
I'm just saying, like, they're not even going to have a chance to, like, time-wise, play as much as I would like a second and third round pick to play. We can't really afford, with the way that the rest of our draft picks are going to go and the consistent lack of free agency moves by the Cowboys, like, we genuinely cannot afford to not have both of these guys in a situation where they're playing, like, it's got to be like 40% of the time. You know what I mean?
Well, that's not gonna. I don't know if that's gonna happen. And that's the thing to me. Look, right now,
even if it's like working up to that, but the point is, in what universe other than shit, we got a bunch of people hurt, now we got to throw in these rookies. Like, in what universe are they going to get to that level? As of right now, I don't see it happening. And I am still, like, again, just a little disappointed because I would have liked to see a little bit of offensive oomph somewhere here in this day 2. So it's like those factors more than
but you
like
still
them
give him a
as
C.
individually as players.
You will give him a B as players, a C as the draft went down.
Exactly.
Basically.
Like the bigger picture of how they fit onto the team and what that means for the team makes it more of a C for me.
Yeah, I went with a,
and I'm guessing that's maybe why for you it's more of a D.
Well, I gave it a CD, but not CD Lamb. I gave it really a D. I almost gave it a DF.
Yeah.
But I can't really give anything an A or a D unless it's a spectacular fucking prospect. Because, if it's for an A or a horrible prospect in an F. But the thing is that, look, the pass rusher is probably what kept me from giving it an F. and he is a good, talented player, but it's the overload at the position which bothers me.
Like the skeptical fan said. Yeah. He's like, if Jerry wants to gamble, go to the casino. Just go with our Cowboys.
Well, that's all he does is do that with their Cowboys. That's the issue with this team is Jerry Jones. The point is still, it's big. We know the biggest issue is Jerry Jones, but when you look at the microscopic stuff here, these are the things. When you grab guys, see, to me, you're saying we're not using these guys as much, as much as you like to see a second and third round guy used. Why is that? It's not because of the player necessarily. It's because of the situation in our fucking team and the needs that we need done now. Like if we had here, let me explain this. If our pass rusher had a knee issue, but we had a lot of pass rushers, I'm cool with that. I can live with that. But we had got a cornerback that we need immediately that is coming off a fucking torn ACL in September. That is stupid thinking from Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, this organization. So that's why it's a D for me. Too many players on the pass rushing side. Yeah, we don't know who's going to be, but we just threw in 3 fucking second round picks in 3 years in a row. Sam Williams, who's been banged up and injured, who knows if he'll ever fucking play, torn ACL. He's going to be back, but how will he be, right? And then you got in there, Fowler. You got the guy guy from the Saints. You got Marshawn Nealon.
It feels like that.
And Micah Parsons.
It feels like that SpongeBob meme.
I'm saying.
Of like the fish who goes, how many times do we got to teach you this lesson, old man?
You bring in an undersized defensive edge rusher who can't stop the run. Our run is one of our biggest issues. We can't stop the fucking run. Undersized, needs muscle. Okay, so year 2 he's going to be solid. But what about a second round pick that's good year 1, motherfuckers? That's the whole point. Every year we get a guy and we got to see what he's going to do. It takes 3 years to see what happens and we cut them. This is bullshit, or you don't re-sign them. This is the fucking issue when they stick to their fucking dumb little fucking draft boards. And I love Will McClay, but he's now become part of the Jerry Jones brainwashing crew. And I'm sorry, it's a bunch of echo chambers in there, a bunch of fucking Jerry Jones dick suckers. And that's what it's just whatever, everyone's in the same, and it's just everyone gave up. That's what I feel like when it comes to the organization. That's why we've lost a little bit of this fervor and passion that we got because the Cowboys are killing us with it. And that to me is the issue. This shows it in this draft. Offensive lineman, we got an offensive lineman first round. That's the trenches, very important. We got another guy in the second round. Trenches, very important. We got a lot of them though. These players on the defensive edge side of things. Okay, we see which one sticks.
Yeah.
We just used 3 straight second round picks to see what sticks, and so far nothing stuck. So what are we doing, right? We don't know what's going to happen. It's still big question marks with a second round pick, which is I think I'm happier about. When you look at a player in the third round, I can't pronounce his fucking name, which is my biggest issue. Shavon, right? Shavon for Revel, whatever his fucking name is. And now he's coming in there. We have one fucking cornerback that's healthy, and a bunch of fucking undrafted scrub bitches. And we need this guy to come in there and step and play as soon as possible. He's got the talent, but he's got no fucking knee. He's got no fucking knee. So now he's going to be out there coming off a fucking injury of a torn ACL. Our doctor did it, thank goodness, and we got a little more insight. Great. He's got to be confident. He's got to be able to cut as a cornerback. And if he's not confident, will he hurt himself again? Is there a chance he'll get hurt again? Is he going to, there's a lot of fucking question marks. That guy, we need to get in there and start. God, motherfucking, am I crazy? How can we give this draft?
Yes,
my thing is, how can we give today? And I'm surprised by the family here. How can we give this draft for today, not the whole draft, but today's draft, an A, B, fuck, even a C, I would say. I know you gave it a C, but damn, I mean, there's just a lot of question marks on a team that has a lot of holes we need filled right now. And that might turn on Mosh, but I'm just saying, we need a lot more like sure guys and just gambles because Jerry Jones has a bug up his ass to stick with the fucking draft board.
I agree. I think
we're killing ourselves here.
You don't have a way of like highlighting it, showing comments on the screen, do you?
No, I wish I could.
Yeah, so I'm going to read this comment by Seabass just because I feel like this would fix a lot of our managerial problems that put us in this situation. Saying, I wish the NFL would rule that owners cannot be GMs nor hold multiple positions of leadership or supervisory positions of authority, even if they own the teams. It's never going to change, but he wishes that they would do that. Unfortunately, because
I wish it could, but
the NFL teams are technically private businesses, they can't, like, it's kind of like, hey, if you want to be the CEO, the COO, the CFO, the whatever at your house, that's fine because that's your house and your business, so
Yeah.
to speak, right? Um, so it would be different if an NFL team had to answer to like shareholders or other people outside of just their ownership. Um, so
I hear you.
that's kind of how we ended up in this
It'd be
position
a
though,
dream
because
thing,
Jerry
of
does
course,
not have to really answer to anyone
of
when it
course
comes to
not.
how he wants to run the Cowboys.
Listen,
So
29 years of failure, 82 years old. No one keeps their job unless you own the team. That's Jerry Jones.
homegrown Cowboy throwing it out there. Do you know why the Eagles are so good?
They make
They
the right
pick
moves.
SEC players,
Yeah,
and we don't, except for Booker.
right. And that's the thing. The one thing the
And it's
Cowboys.
funny because the one thing about Alabama I've heard is that they're like
Well,
that's one of their weaker
well,
programs, so to
Evan
speak.
Neal is the big like. Oh my God, he was horrible, and he's not good. So he was a bust to the Giants, and so that's a lot of people go off the most recent one bust. But the thing is that they're a great program, and they have great players. Now, is there other, maybe there's a lot of great players around these other good players, and I mean the truth comes out when they get into the NFL. The point about Booker, and again, I like Booker. But it's more like, he's not going to be Zach Martin year one, and he's got a lot of issues he's still got to fix. The Cowboys, are good at developing first round
Yeah,
linemen. That's the reason why I'm like, okay, it could have been a better pick, could have been Golden, it could have been this guy, but
yeah,
all right, I don't really care. The pick is the pick, and the Cowboys will develop a lineman. We have our 4 out of 5 guys basically set in stone outside of Terrence Steele
yeah.
as our future of our offensive line. That's the prediction from this front office. This is what they want to see. This is what we got. But yeah, I don't know if it's all about which the conference you pick from, but we get addicted to these conferences or these teams like Michigan, Boise State,
Yeah.
and hope to hit the fucking jackpot. We get 1 or 2 good guys and 20 shitheads. Notre Dame has hurt us a couple of times. Even we got Zach Martin. We also got Jalen Smith, and we got a couple of others. Ozzie Smith. That we'll have to wait and see what happens. Actually,
Where's Taco from again?
Tacos from Michigan.
Michigan. There we go.
Was it Mozzie, Michigan too? I think,
I
yeah, and so was
think so.
Nealon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Marshawn Nealon. So we were Michigan back to back last year. So
No
again,
offense, but fuck Michigan. At least
yeah,
the
I
Cowboys
mean,
side of things.
god damn. So yeah, a lot of this is just the Cowboys. It's the constrictions that the Joneses apply on to Will McClay and Will McClay's board that they are addicted to. So it's a combination of chicken egg, whatever. It's the Joneses that started this thing. They're finishing us. Well, listen, I'm just saying, I hope it all works out for us, but I'm being real. It's just not efficient picks on day 2 for me. Guys that the defensive edge rusher, I like him. But we don't need him now. So I guess he's good for the future. But he's ready to give impact now. But we have too many guys. He'll be better in the future. But we're not gonna get the most out of him this year with that second. And then the other guy, 3rd round pick, who we basically, yeah, he's got 1st round talent, but we may never even see him play out
Hey,
there.
who knows?
So, hey, listen,
I'm not wishing injury, especially
if
not on our own
of
players, but
course
you
not.
never know how things might shake out,
Listen,
and some of these guys might end up coming
yeah.
up real
If
clutch in the
listen,
season.
if it's harder if when you're off a torn ACL.
I know.
And I like everything that Savion, whatever his name is, has. I forgot his name again. I'm so sorry.
Savon
Lavelle?
Revel.
Revel. Savon Revel has the greatest qualities of cornerback as far and also
Almost
physical
said
qualities.
illegal.
But the biggest issue is the injury, and that is I cannot overlook that until we see it. Now, if that thing gets back to normal, and if that knee is back to normal, and he is confident, we may have and then Trayvon Diggs comes back after a couple of weeks or a month. By October, we might have the best, cornerback crew in the league. But you heard a lot of ifs in there, and that's
Yeah.
my issue. We had there was a running back there we could have taken, Caleb Johnson from Iowa, and we a lot of other options. Again, there's other running backs there. Will they be another Deuce Vaughn? You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. But the Cowboys saying there's a trade involving big trades that are almost done that they're waiting to do after the draft, and I suspect it probably involves running back and wide receiver. I know Keenan Allen is out there, receiver. So there's always options, but we really don't have a number 2 receiver. And we really don't have a number 1 running back. I say, Jadavian Williams, I do like him, but I don't know, what's Jadavian? What, Javarius? What? The point is that he's a guy I like, but he ain't the guy. So we got a lot of spots to still fix in his team, a lot of holes in his team, a lot of disappointments, but we still have 6 picks to go. Oh, wait, 7 picks to go tomorrow. None of the 4th round. Well, I guess you count Mingo in the 4th round.
Yeah.
In the 5th round, you also got Joe Milton, so that's our backup quarterback. We got 1 5th rounder. Then we got 2 6-rounders and 3 7-rounders. 5 in the 6th and 7th round. 1 in the 5th. Enjoy. That's what we got left. A lot of picks, and we did nothing with them to move up to get a guy or two that we should have probably gotten. Anyways, that's it for me, baby. I'm done ranting and raving. It's almost
Yeah,
2
I'm gonna
hours.
hit up
It's
the
too much.
chat.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to every single person here chilling, hanging with us. Make sure to take a final second here to hit like, subscribe, hit the bell. Is that all?
Car? I don't think so. But
I guess give me a second as
yeah,
I
check it.
check that.
We'll give those. Hit the like and subscribe, of course, guys, as always. But for day 3 tomorrow, rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7. Here are the players that are left. Some names I'm going to throw to you here. Shedeur Sanders. Again, we talked about him for half the stream. He's a first round, a second round talent at this point in the 4th round. You got other guys in here. Marcus Mabau, which is an offensive lineman from Purdue. Dylan Sampson, who's a running back from Tennessee. Galen Royals, who's a receiver from Utah State. Eric Ayomanor, receiver from Stanford. A lot of receivers. Possible that we can grab one of these guys somewhere in the 5th round. Now, we also had, edge rushers. Jack Sawyer, Braden Swinson from LSU. So, again, Jack Sawyer from Ohio State. Defensive tackle Joshua Farmer from Florida State. Cam Scatterbo from Arizona State. A running back. Keep an eye on him. He may be I've talked about him yesterday. He may be the guy, Torrey Horton, receiver from Colorado State. Miles Frazier, guard from LSU. Ty Robinson, defensive tackle from Nebraska. David Walker, an edge rusher from Central Arkansas. I don't know if we'll do that again. Billy Bowman, a safety from Oklahoma. Gunnar Helm, tight end from Texas. Danny Stutzman. I know Jason Renfro loves him. Danny Stutzman, linebacker from Oklahoma. DJ Giddens, running back from Kansas State. Quincy Riley, cornerback from Louisville. Smael Mondoon Jr., linebacker from Georgia. Isaiah Bond. Look for him as a possibility from Texas. Later in the draft, but still nonetheless, Isaiah Bond, receiver from Texas. Chris Paul, linebacker, Ole Miss. Baron Sorrell, edge rusher from Texas. Kyle Kennard, edge rusher from South Carolina. And what about Will Howard, quarterback from Ohio State, at the bottom of this list? Final expert consensus board of best players, maybe for us in that mix. You might see a name or two come in there from our 7 picks we got left in this draft. In rounds, not 4, we got Mingo in 4, and in 5 we got Milton, but we got 1 in 5, 1 in the 5th round at the end of the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and 3 in the 7th. That's what we got ready to look forward to tomorrow. On that note, again, like the wife said, we were checking out the car, but like we said, make sure you don't forget to hit that like button for the stream, hit subscribe for the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we're going live, whether it's a video, a short, or your live streams. We try to do it as daily as possible. It's not going to be like it was. But for the draft, we're trying to do it, and we'll probably be on again tomorrow night for the finale to crown some champions, because you got sponsor of the week is John Luna, and he's currently just up by a little bit over a Cav 52 for the overall board. Shout outs to him. Cav 52 also got 52 points on the stream, 54 points on the stream boss, and also currently the leader. Yes, I said it. With the Streamlabs drop, the leader in the Cash App side of things. So shout outs to Cat 52 and all his leaderboard abilities there. Let me give him the shout out. There it is. So Cat 52 looking good across the boards. But Skeptical Fan is leading in the gifting membership side. He's got 2 gifted memberships. And he's also currently our Cash App king. So big shout outs to Skeptical Fan, the man saying skeptical. Finally, also the champion, still a champion, for the 6 straight times, not just as a sponsor of the week, but John Luna is also the gifting membership king the last 3 months. So shout outs to Mr. John Luna, Skeptical Fan, Cat 52. And of course, again, Cat 52 for being the leader currently on the Cash App board. And the overall board is John Luna, still only by like 11 or 12 over Cat 52 and Skeptical Fan, who are in the mix. Tomorrow we'll have at least one more stream before we crown a champion. And that'll probably be tomorrow. And if for some reason we do something on Sunday for like a big wrap up, that'll be the last stream. Either way, we're at the finish line when it comes to naming some champions and getting our little raffle going. It's coming up here, guys, in May.
I know.
Star level, over everything level members automatically in, and then anybody else, 4 names You get picked out from the goal hitting. We didn't hit the goal today, so no one gets in their name today that did contribute. But anyways, that's it from me, baby. Anything else on your side? I rated the thumbs up and all that stuff. Anybody in the chat, any last comments before we say goodnight?
Do the final shout outs here. We have the dude, Alan Hayes, Mr. C Bass. You already know. Let's see who else we have. Tokyo representing. Of course, skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. Homegrown cowboy, thanks for rocking with us.
That was an alarm from another car, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't us, so we're good. Yeah.
Darren Posey, much love to you.
Darren Posey in the house.
So glad to see you here, man. Cheese Louise 23, what's up? We have Citizen Z, what's up?
Citizen Z from the After Dark sessions. Hey, he did my intro on After Dark. Much love to him.
There you go.
I hear you, Cheese Louise. Staying positive. We've been doing that for a while as Cowboy fans. I'm done staying positive.
And so we have Madman, Frank,
yeah,
Texas Cat, a few other people here, James Herr. Again,
big
thank you to everybody here chilling, hanging with us.
Those that dropped the love from above, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, Skeptical Fan, the thanks, and also Calvin Richards. That's right, Calvin Richards taking over here. So big shout outs to everybody. Thank you guys. Can't do this without your love and support. Membership wise, gifting wise, super chat, cash app, whatever. Thank you all.
We'll be back here tomorrow.
Wrapping it up.
End of day 3.
Yeah.
The official,
end of the draft. And of course, we also get some undrafted guys signed through the night. So we'll see how that works. We might be doing an earlier stream tomorrow, so keep up on that. And if we do the undrafted guys, it'll be maybe Sunday night. Yes. Keep an eye on that. So
we'll keep you guys updated. But with that said, baby, is there a reason we do what we do here?
Yeah, I see homegrown.
Let's try to change it up a bit.
I see homegrown cowboy. Shout outs to him as well. There's a reason. I know I'm shouting out. I get much love to everybody here, MC Bass and everybody. But why do we do this? It's about that navy blue, no matter what. That silver too, no matter what. And that star, always over everything. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. Even when we don't know what the hell is going on with these draft picks, sometimes I understand some of these players, but I don't understand our organization. No matter what, we always rep that star over everything. Here on My Cowboys Family, for in a couple of months, it'll be over 9 years on YouTube. 40,000 plus subscribers. As we continue this 29-year misery of being Cowboy fans. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever, as always. Say it with us, say it loud, and say it proud. Go Cowboys! And hopefully one day soon get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping the knowledge in the chat all night long. Can't do this without your guys' thoughts and input. Also, cannot say enough about those that drop the love from above. Truly the people that keep the show going. Thank you guys for your support on that side of things. On that note, though, it is time to call it a night. Relock and reload for the final day of the draft tomorrow. And we'll be back here to give you the recap on that and your thoughts. Guys, take care, stay safe. You can be anywhere. You're here chilling with Cowboy News Info and updates on this draft and more. As you saw, we talked about Joe Milton and 2 drafted guys we already have for tomorrow, Joe Milton and Jonathan Mingo. So you get a little head start on that. Thank you all, truly. Have a great time, great night, peace, and so we can officially drop on clock up for the night, baby. Tell me what we got to do. What do we got to drop before we drop out of here?
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. Thank you guys once again for hanging with us here on another night of My Cowboys Family. News info updates, draft info, draft conversation.
Oh, did you close the poll by the way?
I did not, but I'll do that as we speak. How's that sound? Bam. 60 votes in. Pretty much, I think, what you said.
Yeah, very close to the original grades that we talked about there.
Yeah. So you guys see on your screen, thank you all for being part of this thing. And as always, never forget here, 2025, rounds 2 and 3, day 2, draft recap in the books. Look at our guys. They're loving it. Our fans, we'll see what happens. Here in MCF, it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star for everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing here in My Cowboys Family. You guys repping it with us in the house. Can't do this without you all. So don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell to all videos so you don't miss any of our live streams. You got the Discord. You got the comments afterwards. If you're watching us on replay, thank you all for your input and insight. We'll see you soon. Stay safe. And never, ever forget. Go Cowboys!
among on the beat.